The world's gonna try to break me, but I know who makes me strong. That song is called Strong. This week is about strength, and I feel encouraged to share a story with you guys about the strength that I've had to have in certain circumstances. The story I want to tell you about is when I lived in Breckenridge, Texas. I got involved with a guy that was cute, that showed me some attention, and I didn't know really a whole lot about him. I had just moved there and didn't do my research. I was young and cute, and he was cute, and so anyway, one night I embarrassed him in front of one of his friends, and I went home. And when he got there, he was not a happy camper. And we started arguing. Things started flying. And before I knew it, I was thrown through a window. Well, there was an air conditioner in the window. So I basically was thrown into the window and the air conditioner fell out. That's the impact of that. And a couple seconds later, I was staring down a barrel of a shotgun. The adrenaline that I had at that moment, the fear, the thought of dying, in that moment, somehow or another, I grabbed that gun and I threw it out that window that I was just pushed through as hard as I could into the field. Well, a few seconds later, he had a knife to my throat. And I was pinned up against the wall. I don't know how the hell I ever got out of that, but somehow I remember running down the hallway and he cornered me in the bathroom and hit me so hard right here. Boom. As hard as he could. And I remember seeing stars and falling. I don't remember anything after that. But when the cops showed up, somehow or another, I called 911. That was back when the telephones were still on the walls. They weren't mobiles. I might have had a flip phone. I can't remember for sure, but I remember calling the sheriff or calling 911 or something for domestic violence. And it was probably in the beginning of the argument or something when things were getting thrown around. But anyway, when they showed up, of course, he got arrested. And I remember going down to the police station. But I don't really remember what happened in between getting knocked out and the cops getting there. But what the cop told me when I was in there giving my statement with a big fat lip and my teeth were loose and all that stuff, that I must have did a number on him. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, he said that you bit him. That's why his hand had teeth marks in it. And I was like, no, he punched me in the face. And they're like, okay, well, that doesn't explain how his face is all bloody. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. Apparently, I had so much adrenaline, and this is actually making me shake. I had so much adrenaline at that moment that I must have just started punching him. to get out of the situation that I was in. And they said that his face did not look good. We'll just put it that way. And that he was actually going to file charges on me for assault. Wow. The strength that it takes to overcome that was difficult, to say the least. It's a small town, and like I said, I didn't know anything about him, but I soon found out that his family was known as local drug dealers and very powerful. And I was working 2 jobs, and one of the jobs was at a motel, and they would go by the motel and like shoot off guns and stuff to like cause me to be scared. You know, I lived in a farmhouse kind of outside of town in the country by myself. And I remember going home nights and locking myself in my bedroom because I was so scared that they were going to show up and, you know, finish the job. Man, I'm like shaking. And I don't know how I was able to find the strength to continue to even leave the house, you know what I mean? Because that was a very scary, scary time. What I do know is that my angels had to be watching out for me that night, and I know God gives me strength. And I wasn't walking a straight and narrow path then, but I did believe. I've always believed since I was a kid that God exists and that we are assigned angels when we're born, and that they do look out for us, you know. Strength. It took a lot of strength to have the courage to walk outside of my house every day, to go to work every day, and to never give up and never give in and let them win, you know? So I'm here to encourage you that if you're going through anything similar to this, know that you can overcome this. You can break free of it. And you can have the strength to live again without fear. And, you know, that's my testimony. That was a huge test in my life that became one of my biggest testimonies. Get out while you can. That's all I'm saying. Because not everybody is as fortunate as I was to make it out of there, to tell this story. I don't know who needed to hear that today, but you too. You can make it. Find a support group. Find family. Find friends that can help you. And remove yourself from the situation. So that you can live to tell your story. Because it could set someone else free. You guys have a great day. Power up. Have the courage and the strength to never give up. Never give in. And know that I'm always here for you. Love you guys.